Hello again, hope you're all doing well. Before we get to the Arlington Bears or the Gary Bears or whatever they're going to end up being, a reminder that the updated dissipation guide, it covers cases from 2023 to present, is now live and available for download. I've updated it with a table of contents that lists the cases and a brief preview of the topic, which allows you to quickly find what you're looking for. And as always, I present these cheap as free. So I hope you enjoy it. Now, as we all know, the Bears are moving. Maybe. I don't know. The team certainly has pitted Illinois against Indiana to get that awesome taxpayer handout. And I'm not really here to debate the morality of that. But I do want to report that this tug of war played a pivotal part in the party's divorce appeal. And the case is called In Remarriage of... That is not how it's pronounced. That is just what popped into my head when I saw the name. And longtime viewers know the sad running joke of me trying to pronounce any name that's greater than one syllable. So, in the I can't win. In this case, one of the issues the divorcing parties fought over was a PSL. That's a permanent seat license for the Chicago Bears. And now, PSL, if you don't know, it's where you pay a fee, usually an outrageous fee, for the right to buy a specific seat in a stadium, in this instance, Soldier Field, at face value. Now, these were not nosebleed PSLs because the parties clearly had a lot of money. So even if the team was having an awful year, they're probably worth something on the resale market. Now, in the husband's 2021 financial affidavit, when the Bears, well, they were trash and they had finished like 6-11 that year, he swears the PSLs were worth $40,000. Fast forward to trial 2 years later, he changes his tune and says the PSLs for the slightly less sucky 7-10 Bears is worth nada because they're going to move to Arlington Heights or wherever. And so the PSL for Soldier Field was worth nothing. The judge awards Dad the PSL and observed the evidence at trial indicated a $0 face value, but the judge doesn't go so far as to say it's worth nothing. Here's what the judge does. Orders that any season tickets that were left over for the 2023 year, Dad just reimbursed Mom half the face value. Then after that, the PSL was all the ex-husbands to do as he so pleased. Well, Mom is not happy with this. She appeals, and I'm guessing what she's saying here. The Bears almost went to the Super Bowl. My ex has got to be making bank off that. This is crazy, but the appellate court affirms the valuation and allocation for two reasons. Now, as a quick appellate primer, when you are challenging the trial court's valuation of something, if I'm doing the appeal, for example, I have to show the judge's ruling was just against the manifest weight of the evidence. Think of it like a weight loss contest where if an unhappy contestant thinks the scale is broken or just outright wrong, the appellate court doesn't go out and reweigh all the contestants with a brand new scale. What they do is they kind of look at all the contestants from like 20 yards away, and if it's manifestly clear, one's clearly skinnier than the other, no matter what the scale says, then they might reverse. Hope this weird analogy makes sense. Now, contrast that with appealing which spouse gets which piece of property in a divorce. In that scenario, you have to meet what's called the much higher abuse of discretion standard. I like to think of that like playing the highest difficulty mission on Helldivers 2 by yourself. It's not impossible, but man, it is definitely not a cakewalk. Now here, Mom was challenging the valuation. If she can show the PSL should have been valued, the implication is that she would get reimbursed for probably some of it, maybe half, like we do with a retirement account. But the key reason the appellate court affirms, well, is that Mom never really challenged Dad's testimony as to the PSL's value at trial. Dad just testified that he thought it was worthless because they might be moving. Nobody argued with it, and the judge allocated it the same way you might use scratching post. And that's perfectly okay because case law holds that judges don't have to make valuation findings unless it's like critical or crucial to the case. Here, neither side treated the PSL as really either of those. If I had to guess, it's just me guessing here, I think both sides kind of forgot about the PSL and its potential stub-hub value until after the judgment was entered and after maybe the Bears were on their way to the big game or almost the big game. But be that as it may, in either event, the horse was kind of already out of the barn. So here's my takeaway. If you have an issue regarding the value of something, the burden is ultimately going to be on you to put up some kind of number. And the bar really isn't that high. Even a self-serving financial statement or disclosure has been accepted as competent evidence. Okay, now before I wrap things up, 2 weeks ago, in my failed effort to be entertaining, which I fail quite often, I suggested migraines may not be a serious disability. Then a colleague shared their experience involving someone who was very close to them who struggled with that debilitating illness. And it's clear when I use that as an example, I was in the wrong. I enjoy making these videos with my family. Like the practice of law, it's always a privilege and never a right. So I hope they accept this mea culpa. Anyways, that's all I have for today. If you want to be notified of new handouts or videos, stalking is the key. You can show your anonymous support by hitting that like button, if you will. And as always, until next time, thanks for watching.
I don't know who it is, but it probably is local guys. I asked my friend Joe, I asked my friend Jake. They said it was for local guys. Say, come on, the local guys. Say, come on, the local guys.